just in time for this. Like, I really bought this shirt for this, and I needed this Skeletor shirt. Like, this was way overdue, way overdue. So all in style today. I think this guy doesn't need any more of an introduction. Today, Mondo Skeletor. God damn. Sorry. Hi, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Nerd Crate. I've been picking up cat hair from this cape like crazy. Even though the cat is not in this little thing right here, in this room, you know, those fly around. So yeah, welcome back. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Weather's beautiful today, and it's evening. So I thought, what the hell? Let's give this guy a go. So for today, for those people that skipped over the intro, I think this happens, Mondo's Skeletor. Those guys from Masters of the Universe, that is. Of course, for anyone that doesn't know, I think those people exist. Mondo has been doing Masters of the Universe figures for quite a while now. Those guys were at first a prototype as SDCC. They looked super dope, and I was hooked. I was really hooked. But by the time they were released, I was like, I think I had something else on my plate. I don't know what it is, but I had something else. So I was super happy that I'm able to check them out, to get them and to check them out. And beautiful box, beautiful figure. They're not perfect by any means. You see that later on, but they're just great. They're just really, really great. And if I would need to add another option to my final score, it would be epicness. And it would be, you know, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, I don't know, because they are great. They are really, really great. I love these guys. Like I said, not perfect, but they look so good, and they are just amazing when you have them in the shelf. A lot of details come through nicely. So yeah, today it's Skeletor, but since it's a big guy, you already see where this is headed. We're going to look at the accessories and the box and the figure in the back. So here we got the humongous box, and it is beautiful, except that Snake Mountain looks like Elf. Thanks, Dan. Nevertheless, it's beautiful. When we get a little bit closer, we see that it is drawn beautifully, and that old school shading actually reminds me a lot of Jack Kirby, I gotta say. I think that fits. I think that fits, and it's super cool. It's going everywhere. Below we got some demon stuff here, glowing red eyes. Rotate to the left, it continues with that walkway going into the snake. Beautiful, just beautiful. Everything is styled to the nines. It looks absolutely amazing with a lava flow down here. On top we got Masters, and below, I mean, there could have been uglier boxes, but they did it like that. So that is cool. And on the inside, when we lift this up, we got the beautiful Skeletor art. Looks very retro, very like his demonic self. Looks super cool. With Masters of the Universe, Skeletor, Evil Lord of Destruction below with Mondo. And that on the side, 1/6 scale. Collectible figure. On the back, all of this in color. Amazing. I think this is just amazing. And it was only a slipcase. On the top there's nothing, and it's magnetic lid. And when we open this up, we got a little bit of a bio, which is super cool, that Captain Randor is his brother, and that he was his original name was Keldor, as some people may know. It was explained a little bit furthermore, a little bit fleshed out in Moto 200X. And it was all merged together essentially in the Moto Classic lines, and this is essentially canon now. So we got this on here, and we got a cool kind of transformation background with the, I don't want to rip it off, with the actual back where the cape was in. Speaking of the cape, accessories, a lot of them, and no instructions, so we can head right in. Comes with his little sheath for the sword, beautiful, beautifully done. Flat black with some purple-ish dry brushing, looks amazing, with some sculpted fur up here, and an actual snake below here. Looks beautiful. And we got adjustable stuff here. This was loose. I glued this back on because it's better this way. Believe me, this comes off very often. So you saw I already see and try that to bring onto the figure. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But yeah, that's that. And in combination to this, his half of the power sword, which is amazing. Beautifully done, absolutely beautifully done. Dry brush on silver on darker metallic or gunmetal stuff below here, with silver on here, black on the hilt, some more black, flat matte black on here, and the actual Havoc tip of the grip, let's call it like this, also beautifully done. So yeah, beautiful sword. It's all plastic, but it looks beautiful, mind you. And like before, you can put this in here and it looks super cool together. There's actual velveteen covering in there, so nothing gets scratched or anything. And when you put it in, it actually feels like all of this is done from cloth. So this is just super cool. And for a second, like I said, you can put this on between here. There's also some scuffed up stuff. It's just a little bit too tight. So I would recommend you do not use this. First, it is way too high. And second, it comes off very easy. I used this one after I glued it in place, and you need to wiggle it in there, but you need to check. You can get it a little bit higher, and then it just sits way too high. So no. Or you cram it a little bit in more like this, and then it sits a little higher and a little natural. Also, since I showed you the sword already, you can put this in as you thought in his hand. You just cram it in there. It sits a little loose, but you can put it a little bit deeper inside his fingers, and then he holds it just fine. Next up, to get those hands out of the way, you saw two already on Skeletor. It was one gripping hand and one posing hand, and you see the rest of them here. Right out of the box, he comes with these fisted hands, and you see there's a little bit of paint bleed already, but they're sculpted great with some actual foldings here, or some seams on the actual fist, and black fingernails. They look nice. Ball pack on each of them, which I really enjoy. This is the other posing hand. Looks just fine. Really great. Nicely posed. And the second gripping hand. And there's a pack. Yeah, and so you just pull off one hand and you put in whichever you like. Next up, he comes with two additional weapons. First, we got his axe with a kind of magic bell up here. I don't know, magical ball, crystal ball, whatever. Styling same as on the sword. Beautiful dry brushing all over it with darker gunmetal and a darker silver on here. It's actually pretty sharp, so be mindful. And some black wash over these parts with flat black on the, yeah, kind of woven, simulated woven stuff on the grip here. It looks beautiful also on the tip. So that's one. And the second alternate is his actual shorter bone sword with a super thick blade. I don't know what that is about, but styling's the same. Bones are done nicely. Same with the woven grip here and the bone on the tip. And I'm not going to show you how to attach them. Those are gripping hands, I beg you. Then he comes with the alternate retro head from the old mini comics, where he's actually coming from, same as He-Man, where he was a barbarian. And it's got all the old school sculpting. It looks ridiculous, but this is actually what Skeletor looked like back in the day. So we have neon yellow as the main color with green also. And we have a evil, let me hold it like this, the zoom has a hard time kind of. Evil red eyes in the middle with some blue around there, lighter blue around the red, and the teeth a little bit more colored. So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I'm not using it. You pulled it off from the original body, or you put it off from the body and you put this on. So there's all there is to it. Then we got the minifigure for the character Relay, and I don't know jack about her. It's done good. It has zero articulation. I won't use it, but it's a thing. Then we got a stand, and the ridiculous part is, this is the back part. Is this the back part? is this the back part. You see what I mean here? Like we have this, and this is where the pack is supposed to go in, and this is where Skeletor goes in. So you just put the pack in there. I'm not putting it in fully because it's going back in the box. And then you have the crotch holder, and all of this with the Masters M is lost. I think this is a bad call. Otherwise, I think it's doing its job, but this guy is standing stably enough as is, so I'm not using this. Second to last is the super evil Cape of Destruction. Whoa, and it's massive. And it's got all the cat hair over it, so that's a bonus. I don't know how to clean it actually. That's a problem of mine, you don't need to stress that. So it looks cool. We got black on the one side and purple on the other side, and you got a chain. And just that is what I actually want to show you, so we can have it around his neck, which is super nice. And also, let me adjust this real quick. You can have it draped super cool over him, or you can really throw it kind of Batman-like over his shoulders. And I think this is a way cooler look. And there's space on the back here for the sword. So I never had Skeletor with a cape, like back in the day, the original toys. Skeletor had no cape. Skeletor now having a cape. Super evil, super fucking cool. And final and very important thing is his Havoc staff. And check out how cool this guy looks. Amazing, super cool gold skull here with a lot of dry brushing over it. Looking ridiculously evil with the horns in blue, also dry brushed with lighter, I don't know, kind of gray or yellow wash. Looking immensely cool. Woven material sculpted here on the actual grip with some blue, I don't know, like column stuff here. It's just amazing with more dry brushing and gunmetal here, also on the tip. So it's just beautiful. So let's get to Skeletor, and he is amazing. I really say this wholeheartedly. I know he's not perfect, but he just looks super cool. And this is what I always wanted out of Masters of the Universe toys. I like the classics, but it's not fitting in my collection, and this is the way to do business in my book. It's a little bit zoomed in for you guys, you just see what's going on here. Beautiful sculpt on the actual skull with some black on the inside and some red here. I want to see if I can get that a little bit. Yeah, that works. Okay, cool. You can see it now all in almost perfect quality. Let me get that up a little bit. So there we go. Better, way better. Sculpted teeth, the whole skull details are done nicely with painted white teeth, black on the inside of the nose, red eyes in there. His actual costume / armor, all soft goods, very nicely. Black on here, flat black with silver pins up here, bones, that ruby in the middle, that bat, little horde or Hordak knot. I don't know, it's amazing. Like the gauntlet on the side here. I'm just doing this as I go. It's a little bit different all here, you know. All painted with gunmetal and purple and the silver tips. On the back with his armor, like I said, this is a little bit scuffed up already due to the grip of the actual for the sword, for the sheath. So there's that, but it's still beautiful. And yeah, his loincloth around the actual hip. This is all sculpted fur. You can take it off, you just need to pop off the whole body. I'm not doing this, I'm keeping this as is. And the thing around the hill on the hip here is done the same way as all here. So purple, lighter blue with gunmetal and silver up here. And the legs are also done beautifully with the same styling as on the gauntlets. And the feet. And the thing is, which is crazy, this whole body is painted. This whole body is actually painted. This is a vinyl body and it's painted all over. When you check out the paint here, everything is just painted all over. We have all these muscle strands done with a darker shade of blue with a lighter blue all over. This is all airbrushed in here, same as here, with some dirt inside the fingers, and the fingernails are painted. The head is actually also dry brushed a lot with some dirt up here, otherwise with the purple, with the yellow. And on the back it all continues, you know, with the actual darker blue for muscle shading, and on the legs here. Only thing that's a little bad, we had some bleed here, some stain from the inside of this, but you don't really see it when you have in post. So that all works fairly well, fairly well. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. It's an amazing figure, and it is actually what I always wanted out of Skeletor. Let me adjust this a little bit more. So for the articulation, and here comes the cool part, we have the head. It is a little bit up, more down, 360 all around if you want it. And the best part, you can pose the skull inside the mask and have his skull open up, his jaw, for some more presence, you know. I think this is amazing. I think this is super cool. And with this hand, and you don't open him up fully, make it a little bit more, that looks better. I just love it. I love it. Love it. So you can get the arm all around, but then you would, works pretty good. Okay, bicep swivel, and you can get the shoulder out pretty far. It's all soft ratchets and they're pretty stiff, so be mindful of that the first time. Please be very mindful of that. I heard breakage on this because of the tightness of this. We have some paint inside the joints here. So like I said, please be very mindful. I really mean that. An additional bicep swivel, or an elbow swivel, and a single jointed elbow that's loosened up quite a bit, let me tell you. And I think this is cool now. Stiff, but not too stiff, gives you a lot. The ball joint on the hand gives you, of course, a full swivel, and you have, due to the soft ratchet, a lot of possibility to just pose in whatever you like. So this is nice. We have an ab crunch. It's tight and it's not big, but it's there, and a swivel here and a swivel on the actual waist. Although on He-Man, mind you, this popped off on mine, so now he pops off at the waist. So if you used it, maybe use also the one on the actual rib cage. The legs don't pop out like on SHF, but you have enough for this. Not a full split, not even close, but it's enough. And to the front, also some paint are up here, but once it's in here, it's not a problem. And to the front, I think that's okay. Like, to me, what I will do with this guy, and that is just have him nicely inside. You see, I think this was all made. Yeah, I think this is trying to pop off. See what I mean there? So use this and this. Thigh swivel around the universal, that's nice. And double jointed knee, also very stiff in the beginning. Be mindful again. But once you've done it a few times, you have a great knee. It's looking good. I like the cuts, what they did here. And it works just fine. Same on the other side. And a little bit of a swivel going around the knee here. So you can have the knee really kind of bent and also rounded, giving it a slight curl. So I think that's very nice. And the foot is on a ball joint, giving you a, I would say, a pretty good rocker. That looks nice. And some up and some down. So I think this guy is very, 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 very fair. I know there's a lot of varies. I know I'm very biased, maybe even very, 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 very biased, but it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful guy. But for some statistics, the magic number, we have 555 grams. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. And for size, we got, oh man, that looks close. We got 38 30 centimeters on the button, 12 inches there. So let's get him transformed. Shit, right, wrong figure. But no, what we will do, we need a step, and we need a cape, and we need the short and the sheath, sword and sheath. So I just equipped him with all of this, and just to see that you have the full view here with the cape and everything. And the pose that I love, actually, and that works very, very well and just looks amazingly evil, and is pretty much the only pose pretty much, I don't know, kind of important to Skeletor, is to me when you take the, I need to work the ball joint here a little. When you did that, you can just have him standing more menacingly. Leg give away a little bit, easy, but only a little bit. But there you got an idea of how good he can actually look in pose. And I think this works all around. So yeah, there's not too much posing with him going on. And I'm not putting him into running poses or anything because this is no toy. This is a collectible figure. But he just can look absolutely cool and menacing. So the only last part kind of missing is how does he fare up with other figures? And here we're gonna do something I have in my collection for quite some time, but I didn't show you. Here we have the V1 He-Man from Masters of the Universe Classics. So there's no way in hell those will ever scale with each other. And a figure I reviewed way back, the Age of Ultron Mark 1 from Avengers Age of Ultron. So those scale well. And for the Stone Collectibles people, review coming soon. Ryu from Ultra Street Fighter 2. And you know, mostly this is a Transformers channel. So the only thing remotely fitting in this size, Transform Missions powertrain. So yeah, no real scale in any of this, but just so you know how he stacks up. So there he was, guys. Mondo's Skeletor from Masters of the Universe. Is he good? I would say so. I would say so. Like you heard all of my gripes. They're not overly big. And since this and He-Man were the first from those guys, I can excuse a few points for that, you know? Because the paint overall on this guy tends from being up there, when we look at the Havoc staff, to a little bit lower due to the paint bleed. Like the paint bleed from the little loincloth thing here on the thigh, and also a lot of paint in the knees, you know. The overall appearance of this guy though is amazing, and so this cuts a lot of this off, I gotta say. So there's that. The packaging, to go back to the start, is beautiful in itself. The thing is, I just put a point down, and thanks for Dan, I can't ever unsee that. Snake Mountain here looks like fucking Elf. I think it's still beautiful, but the problem is he has a point. So there's that. Accessories is good for him. I think the accessories are done extremely well. They look beautiful, and I think there isn't anything that doesn't make sense. I just forgot the name of the little thing they gave with it already again, because I couldn't care less about that thing, but otherwise I think the accessories are great. Nice posing hands, you know. So Havoc staff, one half of the power sword with his little goat staff thingy on top here. So I think that's amazing. Articulation falls a little bit down. I originally had it at 7, but I gave it an 8 due to the fact that you can just, you know, you can articulate his face inside the hood and have him open his mouth, and this gives this guy so much presence, you know. So I had to give him a point more for that. It was just a given. So the overall articulation otherwise though is a little bit limited. Like on the elbows, there's no ab crunch. The then also that squeaky stuff on the knees, which is very stiff. So there's a little bit here and there. I think they'll improve over time. And I think for this guy, it's 1/6. It's not really an action figure. It's fine. So that's why I gave it that. I think everything else, yeah, I already addressed everything else. Only the playability, really in the word playability, he's not good. But in that sense of, oh my God, this guy is so epic. I have to, you know, you just grab him from the shelf and you just fill with him. You try different poses. You want to see how good can he actually hold the Havoc staff? How does he hold the sword? How comes the sword into play on the back of his little armor? And all the hands, what can you do? You just want to do a lot with this guy because he looks so good. And then comes the price, and I get that for people when they look him up, they say, okay. They started out around 170. They started around 170 and they are now over 200. I paid over 200 for each of them. So it's a little bit higher, but for people that are in the 1/6 game, I would say you know the drill, you know? So I did stress it. For me, it was like, how am I doing this? And I did it, and I do not regret it. But if you do, I get you. So with this, only one last thing really comes to mind, and that is, what does the cat score say? Lily Cat, what say you to this guy? Huh? Ah, you like that guy. That's good. So with this, there's only one thing I really want to show. It's also just a short stint for this guy right here. Dan and me did a t-shirt together, like mine's using the kind of Decepticon Galvatron symbol, obviously for Neo Cybex. It's a little reference, a little homage to a metal band, Stormtroopers of Death. They did Speak English or Die, and so we did Speak Neo Cybex or Die, or his Speak Primal Vernacular or Die. So just a small thing. If you like this, I think those came out great. It's a sample, an actual sample from Teespring, and it's looking really cool. At least I think so, or we think so. And if you like that. And now I hope you had a nice weekend, and I hope you have a great week, and I see you next week. I have a few things in the making. I wanted to tease, but I think that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, so yeah, like, subscribe, share, and all that stuff. I want to keep it a little bit slower, or faster. It's just too much, you know? Find everything down in the details. Wherever you want to contact me, give a like, give a follow, share everything. And if you do, thanks. And also thanks for watching. See you next time. Appreciate it. Bye.